From the outside, Ron Howard appeared to live one of Hollywood's most stable and admirable lives. Known for his calm voice, thoughtful storytelling, and warm public presence, he seemed untouched by the turbulence that often surrounds a career in entertainment. For decades, audiences saw a man who transitioned effortlessly from beloved child actor to award-winning director. Yet behind the familiar smile lived a far more complex story. In recent years, Howard has spoken more openly about the quiet struggles that shaped his life, memories of pressure, regrets about time lost with family, and the deep emotional scars that came with growing up under the relentless glare of Hollywood's spotlight. Born into Hollywood before he could choose. Ronald William Howard was born on March 1st, 1954, in Duncan, Oklahoma, into a family already deeply connected to acting. His father, Rance Howard, was a hardworking character actor, and his mother, Jean Spiegel Howard, was an actress as well. Their passion for the craft meant their son was introduced to the world of filmmaking almost immediately. At just 18 months old, he appeared in the film Frontier Woman, beginning a career before he could even understand what acting meant. What looked like a magical opportunity from the outside was, in many ways, the beginning of a life path he never fully chose for himself. Childhood in a golden cage. When the Howard family moved to California in the late 1950s, Ron's childhood became a delicate balance between ordinary life and professional responsibility. Instead of playgrounds and carefree afternoons, his days often revolved around auditions, rehearsals, and film sets. Schoolwork had to fit around production schedules, and friendships were difficult to maintain. Howard later described this upbringing as living in a golden cage. He was safe, supported, and surrounded by creative people, but he also felt isolated from the normal experiences most children enjoyed. Even at a young age, the expectations of show business created a quiet pressure that followed him everywhere. Becoming America's favorite son. Everything changed on October 3rd, 1960, when The Andy Griffith Show premiered. At only 6 years old, Ron became Opie Taylor, the sweet-natured son of Sheriff Andy Taylor. The show quickly became one of America's most beloved television programs, and young Howard turned into a symbol of innocence for millions of viewers. While audiences adored the character, Ron experienced a very different reality behind the scenes. He often studied in a tiny tutoring room near the set while other children played outside. His father coached him carefully, urging him to act honestly rather than play up cuteness for laughs. The quiet pressure of growing up on screen playing Opie brought enormous recognition, but it also created emotional pressure that few people noticed. Being seen as the perfect child meant living up to a public image that left little room for mistakes or personal exploration. As the years passed, Ron struggled with the gap between the person he was becoming and the character audiences expected him to remain. When The Andy Griffith Show ended in April 1968, viewers simply remembered a successful series. For Ron, however, the experience left behind a complicated legacy, one that included gratitude for the opportunity, but also the lingering weight of childhood responsibility. Hidden anxiety behind early success. Even during his early film work, Ron faced moments of deep insecurity. While filming The Music Man in 1962, the 8-year-old actor struggled to learn a dance routine required for one of the scenes. Nervous and overwhelmed, he quietly confided in co-star Shirley Jones that he feared he would not be able to perform it correctly. The filmmakers solved the problem with clever camera work, filming him mostly from the knees up so the audience would never notice his difficulty. To viewers, the scene looked seamless. But for young Ron, it was another reminder that even small moments on screen carried enormous pressure. A second iconic role, and another cage. Years later, Howard found himself once again at the center of a cultural phenomenon. In 1974, he joined the cast of Happy Days as Richie Cunningham. The show became wildly popular and cemented his status as one of television's most recognizable faces. Yet success brought a familiar feeling of confinement. Richie represented a nostalgic, idealized version of American youth, and Howard felt increasingly disconnected from that image. By 1977, at just 23 years old, he realized he needed a dramatic change if he wanted to grow creatively and personally. Acting had given him fame, but directing offered something far more valuable: freedom. Discovering a new identity behind the camera, Howard's escape from typecasting began with an opportunity from legendary low-budget filmmaker Roger Corman. Corman offered him the chance to direct a film if he agreed to star in it as well. The result was Grand Theft Auto, 1977, Howard's directorial debut. Although the film was modest in scale, it opened the door to an entirely new career. Over the following decades, he developed a reputation as one of Hollywood's most reliable directors, creating films such as Night Shift, Splash, Cocoon, Willow, and Parenthood. Each project helped redefine him beyond the image of the child star audiences remembered. The exhaustion behind a major triumph. One of Howard's most ambitious achievements came in 1995 with the release of Apollo 13. The film recreated the harrowing events of NASA's ill-fated lunar mission with remarkable realism. To achieve this authenticity, the production included hundreds of complex sequences simulating weightlessness. Howard pushed himself relentlessly, working extremely long days and overseeing demanding technical challenges. The production reportedly involved more than 600 zero-gravity shots and months of intense scheduling. After nearly 3 months of 18-hour workdays, the exhaustion finally caught up with him, and he collapsed on set. The film became a critical and commercial triumph, but at a personal cost. The family moments he couldn't get back. Despite professional accomplishments, Howard later admitted that the greatest regrets of his life were connected to the time he spent away from his family. In 1991, while directing Far and Away in Ireland, he spent 6 months overseas during a crucial period at home. His wife, Cheryl Howard, cared for their newborn twins largely on her own. When Ron finally returned, he was shaken by how unfamiliar he felt to his children. That realization stayed with him for decades. The same pattern resurfaced years later while making Cinderella Man, reinforcing the painful awareness that success often came with sacrifices he could never undo. A brother's struggle and an unfixable problem. Among all the challenges Howard has faced, one of the most personal involves his younger brother, actor Clint Howard. The two shared a rare bond, having both grown up inside the entertainment industry. Clint faced serious struggles with addiction in the late 20th century, eventually turning his life around after a critical ultimatum in 1990. In more recent years, however, Clint has reportedly been dealing with a serious health condition that deeply affects the entire family. For Ron, a lifelong storyteller accustomed to solving narrative problems on screen, the situation feels painfully different. It is a battle he cannot direct, edit, or rewrite. Outro, a lifetime of stories, and a new perspective. As Ron Howard entered his 70s, he began reflecting more openly on the path that shaped him. With a career spanning more than 6 decades and an estimated legacy worth hundreds of millions, his professional accomplishments are undeniable. Yet in quiet interviews and personal reflections, he has acknowledged something far more profound. The silence between projects has given him time to reconsider the meaning of success. After spending a lifetime telling stories for the world, he now speaks about the importance of living his own. For Howard, the greatest lesson of his journey may be simple but powerful. Fame can shape a life, but it should never replace living it.